video is on multiplying fractions times fractions. And just like in the last video, we're going to talk about estimating before we solve. When you estimate fractions times fractions, we're really looking to round the fractions to the nearest benchmark fractions. And those benchmarks will be 0, 1/2, or 1. Which one is it closer to? Well, I know that 3/4 is close to 1 whole, so I would round that to 4, or to 1. I know that 2/3 is also pretty close to 1 whole, so I'll change that to 1. And I know 1 times 1 is 1, so I expect my answer to be pretty close to the answer of 1. I'm going to do it solving like we did in the last video, and then I'm going to show a shortcut method to make simplifying a little bit easier. When you multiply fractions, you just multiply straight across. You don't need any common denominators, multiply straight across. 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 3 is 12. And as always, we have to simplify that fraction. I know the greatest common factor of 6 and 12 is 6. So if I divide 6 by 6, I get 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So 1/2 is pretty close to that answer of 2. It's not too far away. This method is going to have you simplify a little bit earlier. So what we look at are the fractions that are created diagonally and try to simplify those. Because it's a little bit easier to simplify smaller fractions than it is when they have bigger digits in them. So by diagonal fractions, I mean like this. And that top number would be 2/4. And I know that 2/4 can simplify to 1/2. And I can do the same thing with 3/3. 3/3 can simplify to 1/1. And so then when I multiply, 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 1 is 2. I end up getting the exact same answer. It's just a little bit easier to work with smaller fractions than it is simplifying a bigger fraction, especially if you're not very knowledgeable in your math facts. We'll do another one like that just to check. Let's do 4/12 times 8/16. Okay, so I know cross fractions, 8/12, I know that 4 goes into both. So when I divide 8 by 4, I'm going to get 2. When I divide 12 by 4, I'm going to get 3. 4/16. And you can divide them both by 4, you get 1 and 4. And so when I multiply straight across, I'm going to get 2/12. I'm still going to have to simplify, but this helps me break it down to where I just need to divide by 2 again to get 1/6.